The Boston Celtics are officially NBA champions after dominating Game 5 and dominating really the whole series against the Dallas Mavericks, and they won tonight 106-88, and this game was never really close. It was a 10-point game after the first quarter and a 21-point game after the first half, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were the stars of the show tonight, but it was really Boston's depth that was on display throughout the entire game, and honestly throughout this entire playoff run. They have proved that they are the best team in basketball, and they are the deepest team in basketball as well. Even in tonight's game, they had 4 guys have 10 points or more, with Derek White having 14 points, 8 rebounds, and Jrue Holiday having 15 points and 11 rebounds. And Al Horford, even though he didn't score in double digits, had 9 points, 9 rebounds, and stepped up and played in his role. And this team has been all about just playing your role and finding that chemistry as a team. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had great games, with Jason Tatum having 31, 11, and 8, and Jaylen Brown having 21, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds. And Jaylen Brown ended up winning Finals MVP, and I honestly think he deserves it. He was the most consistent player throughout this entire series, and Jason Tatum had a great series where he really produced in more ways than just scoring the ball, even when he wasn't necessarily hitting all of his shots. But this was a team effort and a team win, and the fact that they were able to hold Dallas under 100 points in 4 out of the 5 games of this series proves how great they are defensively and on the offensive end of the basketball, because it's easier to be a great offensive team and let your guard up defensively, but this team has been locked in both on offense and on defense throughout this entire playoff run, and that starts with their stars. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 2 of the best defenders in the entire NBA, and you saw that when it came to guarding guys like Luka Doncic or like a Kyrie Irving throughout this entire series, because if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum was assigned to Luka Doncic, Luka had to work for his buckets. And obviously Luka is Luka and a top 3 player in the NBA, if not the best player in the entire NBA, and he's going to get his buckets, but they made it more difficult for him and made him shoot poor percentages at times throughout this entire series. And then it trickles down. Jrue Holiday and Derek White were amazing guarding Kyrie Irving, and even in this game, Kyrie just didn't really show up in the same way that he normally has, and throughout the series, he was just really inconsistent. And in this game, he only had 15 points, and I believe he only broke 20 points one time, and that was in their dominant Game 4 win. And for Boston, this was just an all-around team effort, both offensively, defensively, and their coaching was amazing as well. Joe Mazzulla outcoached Jason Kidd throughout this entire series, and honestly, I do believe that the Boston Celtics deserved this championship, as they were the best team throughout the regular season and throughout the playoffs, and they dominated this series. Coming into the series, I, as well as many other people, believed that this was going to be a really intense series that went at least 6 or 7 games, and I had predicted Boston in 7 just because of their depth and the fact that they had home court advantage if there was a Game 7. But to be honest, I did not foresee them coming out and dominating in the way that they did. And even in their Game 4 loss, it was one of the worst in NBA Finals history, and they did not look good. But they were also transitioning to being without Kristaps Porzingis, and he's a huge part of this team. But the fact that he was able to go out and only play 16 minutes and score only 5 points tonight, and they were still able to come away with a dominant victory to clinch the NBA Finals, just shows how deep this team actually is. And we have to give props to them up and down the lineup, as they were just absolutely incredible throughout this entire playoff run. They went 16-3 throughout 4 rounds of the NBA Finals. That's averaging less than a loss per series. And at no time did they lose more than 1 game in a single series, even in the NBA Finals against one of the best teams in all of basketball. But if you're looking at it from the Dallas Mavericks point of view, they will be back. They had an amazing run, and they beat some amazing teams, and I think that this team is going to definitely be back, especially with the growth of a guy like Derek Lively Jr. or the growth of PJ Washington. Lots of these guys have not been in a finals situation before. This is Luka Doncic's first finals, and even though it's Kyrie Irving's first final, it's not his first final, it's his first final in quite some time, and the bright lights are something that Boston has gotten used to over the past few years, as they've been in, like I said before, 6 out of 8 conference finals, and with this being their second finals appearance in the last 3 years, they have been to this spot before. This core has been to this spot before. Even a guy like Drew Holiday has been here before with the Bucks and won a championship. They have the perfect roster to take down a team like Dallas, as they just have more experience, and they were able to show up when it mattered the most in the entire NBA Finals, and they had a 64-18 record throughout the regular season and a 16-3 record throughout the postseason. Both by far amazing performances, and lots of teams that you see that have amazing regular season records let down in the playoffs. I'm thinking of the Atlanta Hawks of the early to mid 2010s, who were perennial 50 to 60 win teams, but they always seemed to let you down in the playoffs. But this Boston team was different, and they just had such a great chemistry, and Jaylen Brown deserves this Finals MVP. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. That let me know if you think that Jaylen Brown deserved Finals MVP, or if it should have gone to Jason Tatum, or even like a guy like Drew Holiday. God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing day, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. God bless.